Greetings everyone, this is Assail the Terror of Death 99, aka the Black Cobra. And we're continuing the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Continuing with Recipe for Turnabout. Now, last night we actually found out that the fake Phoenix Wright was actually the head of a mysterious group known as Tender Lender. They claim to be an insurance company, but turns out the boss's assistant is actually the daughter of the former head of a mafia group. Granddaughter, I should say. He was actually pretending to be Phoenix Wright. As for why, that we don't know yet. We also found out that the old man, Victor Kudo, wasn't at the restaurant to chat with Maggie Bird, but simply to admire her uniform. And it turns out he did not actually see her from the front, but from the back instead. Anyway, let's continue. No, it did not go quite well. And it did end on a giant mystery. We still haven't solved a single part of it yet. It was determination. Alright. Now. Here we go. Detective. I'm not stressing anyone out. Indeed. Wonder what the... Ah, that's that green bottle. Aromatherapy. I do remember it. That was the one that Maya found. That's gotta be the... I'm actually wondering if that's the actual bottle that the cyanide was actually in, instead of that brown bottle. Let's see what we have here. Alright. It's not. Whoa! Oh yeah. We also found out last night that the victim was actually taking medication for an ear injury that he suffered. His left eardrum was actually ruptured after following a fight. This must be the medication he was taking. Bingo! I thought so. I'm thinking somebody swiped it. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? That's gonna weaken an impact as a piece of evidence. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name is not Phoenix Wright. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Maggie Bird. Defense is ready, Your Honor. One moment, everyone. I apologize for that, everyone. The Black Cobra is here. Let us continue. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand, but according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Furthermore, according to the witness's accounts, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It was throwing us off the scent. So. Oh, you better not start with your bullshit, Godot. I am not in the mood tonight. Sean Armstrong. And no, I am not doing that accent like I did last time. On the day of the incident, you were in Trevian's kitchen. Is that right? I'm not intimidated either. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trebian. Art Deco, huh? Okay, so that was what that mirror was for. Wait. a minute. Bingo. He saw everything from reverse. He was looking inside a mirror. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. Gladly, Your Honor. And who were those two customers exactly? You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. I just have to try a different approach for the time being. You're experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about that before today? Yes, I know about that. Please stay on topic. Why didn't you tell the court about this before? Art Deco is a style of design, Your Honor. Let's talk about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that type of thing. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? That is indeed a huge frame. And a huge mirror. A mirror on the ceiling. Interesting. No, there was not. There was no mirror on the ceiling. There was a mirror, but it was not on the ceiling. It was in the kitchen, on one of the walls. You couldn't lie about such a huge object like that. It must have been there in the restaurant somewhere. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. Interesting. So technically his testimony was not incorrect. He simply saw things in reverse. Normally I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Objection!
No, Godot. It's called a bun, Godot. But yes, I do agree. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Exactly. Everything? Who would have seen everything in reverse? How did he freeze it again? The boy was wearing this earpiece on the same side as the green lens he's on his specs. Bingo! He was looking through a mirror. Gotcha. That's why he said he picked up the cup in his left hand. He was actually lifting it up with his right hand, not his left. Kudo was wrong. It wasn't wrong. He was confused because he was looking at everything in the mirror. He saw everything he described reflected in the mirror, and everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right. Wait a minute. Something I need to show. Now, remember last night I actually stated that there was actually something that the right-hand side of the victim was actually blocked off? Take a look at this. There's a wall cut between the two tables. It's kind of hard to believe that everything's the fault of a mirror, but if he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. Wait a minute. Objection, Your Honor. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. Lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. So to summarize, we're told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror. It means that both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, Why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? The witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, and we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been on his right eye. Oh, I understand him quite well, Godot. Yes, I remember that. Wait a minute! The victim's eyepiece. I saw the eyepiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they're both on his left ear. Here, his left ear. He is impressive, I give him that. Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. What exactly was the old man looking at? Tell the court. We're all ears. Very well. Okay. Looks like I was the one who was mistaken. So I'm pretty damn sure there was a mirror in the kitchen. Right there. Interesting. So he was lying about the... Wait a minute. True. Ah, okay. I see. So the victim was in the victim's table was next to where Mr. Kudo was sitting. And the mirror was in the kitchen, just not during the murder. Okay, so I was not mistaken. There's one problem, though. He actually claimed he was actually sitting at the table on the opposite side. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Very well. So run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? So I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Objection!
I don't see any reason why he would lie about that. Where would that be? Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. We're not gonna get into that, Maya. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? Yes, I already read the floor plans. And I already looked at them. Wait a minute. Now don't forget what I stated before. There are walls separating each table. That's the seat old C was sitting in on that day. No. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? I don't buy it. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? True. Given the witness's physique, I suppose it. Hey, looks can be deceiving, everyone. Just because it looks like a transgender doesn't mean it can't be strong. I look like a nerdy gamer myself, but I actually used to be a former weightlifter. Anyway, did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? Are you sure about that? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on it. What exactly? No, Godot. I did show the mirror. Well, the only one that I saw in the restaurant. Now, my eyesight isn't exactly 20/20, but I can see pretty damn good. The only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Trilogy that day. Now I just gotta prove it somehow. I'm not buying it. No. I'm not buying it. Objection, Your Honor. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. Yes. This photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. Insult me all you want, Godot. I will prove I am right. Bingo. Right here. Take that. The vase. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not show me in the picture. Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Bingo. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court could see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all! Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trebian that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie! Bullshit. No. Objection, Your Honor. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except for the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right, there was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? If I can answer this, then I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. There's more than just one contradiction, Maya. Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And yet, there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Yes, Your Honor. Bingo. Gotcha. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Godelg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there's nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Bingo! That's exactly what I'm saying. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was insistent about in his testimony was, the servant girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something into it. There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. If your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Objection, Your Honor. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Trevian that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. What you have done just now is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I'll decide how to punish you later. For now, we'll hear your cross-examination. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Was he alone at his table as well? Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. By all men, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? So Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. And we should ask about his arrival in more detail. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. 2:25 p.m. So that was around 2 o'clock. Just after 2, huh? Time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Are you absolutely sure about the time? Witness, get on with your testimony, please. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim? I know that, Godo. There's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. Did you see him? Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, correct? What about Mr. Kudo? What were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had some time to kill. Okay, why is it playing Pearl's theme? No. I mean, you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? true. He is definitely connected to the case. Question is, how? Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Exactly. We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. He's lying. He's definitely lying. Because of this! Where is it? Where is it? Bingo! Objection, Your Honor! I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. This victim we've been told about has nothing to do, but has done nothing with the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there's only one conclusion you could draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 gun elves in Trebian that day. The real gun elk, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony gun elk acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. How do I explain the time discrepancy? Fine. We shall recap. According to your imaginary theory, it's now just at 2 p.m. I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead! What? Fine, fine. Let's turn it all around, back me into a corner instead. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trabian. Yes, Your Honor. Gotcha. Bingo. The body was hidden here. Can I back it up? Yes, I can. Right here. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trabian. This bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they?